Empaths with few or no friends usually have these 5 traits. Look around your life right now. Notice the quiet spaces. Society insists that a full existence requires a crowded room, a buzzing phone, and endless social obligations. Perhaps you look at your own solitary evenings and wonder if something went wrong along the way. A persistent thought might whisper that you are irreparably broken. You are not. This solitude is not an accident, nor is it a punishment for some imagined flaw. It is a biological imperative. Navigating the modern world requires a massive expenditure of metabolic energy for an empath. Your brain processes environmental and emotional data at a rate that would overwhelm an average nervous system. A microscopic shift in a room's atmosphere catches your attention when a lie is spoken. The silent grief of a stranger passing on the street hits your chest. You absorb the jagged, unhealed edges of the people you try to befriend, processing their hidden trauma as if it were your own flesh. This constant influx of sensory data demands a sanctuary. Having few or no friends is often misinterpreted by the outside world as social failure or rejection. In reality, it acts as an advanced form of self-preservation. Your subconscious mind recognizes the physiological toll that superficial interactions exact upon your body. The hidden cost of maintaining connections that drain your vital reserves gets calculated in real time. When the price becomes too high, your autonomic nervous system steps in to protect you. A necessary shutdown initiates. The cords are cut. We are taught from a young age to measure our worth by our popularity. Conditioning tells us to collect relationships like trophies, ignoring the heavy emotional weight they carry. But when your biology is wired to experience the world with such raw intensity, every relationship acts as a live electrical wire. A handful of the wrong connections will short-circuit your entire system, flooding your body with stress hormones and fatigue. Choosing to sever those wires takes courage. You have stepped away from the noise to protect your peace. This quiet reality you inhabit represents a fortress built by your own intuition. You trade the illusion of belonging for the unwavering certainty of your own internal stability. The empty chairs at your table are not a tragedy waiting to be fixed. They are boundaries made visible. As we explore the distinct traits that guide you into this sanctuary, allow your shoulders to drop. Release the shame attached to your small or non-existent social circle. We will uncover the hidden architecture of your mind and explain why your isolation acts as a masterclass in survival. Your nervous system knows exactly what it is doing. Listen to the quiet, it is speaking to you. Think of your body as a finely tuned radar station. While most people possess a standard antenna to navigate social interactions, your neurobiology operates on a hyper-calibrated frequency. This brings us to the first trait defining the solitary empath. You possess an exquisite yet demanding physiological architecture. The world is loud. Every social gathering presents a chaotic symphony of overlapping voices, clinking glasses, and shifting moods. For the average person, this environment registers as background noise. They filter out the excess and focus on the conversation directly in front of them. You do not have that luxury. Your amygdala, the ancient threat detection center deep within your brain, scans the room relentlessly. It registers the forced laughter in the corner. It catalogs the suppressed anger of a couple arguing near the door. It tracks the shifting dynamics of the crowd, processing thousands of microscopic emotional cues every second. This relentless vigilance exacts a steep physiological toll. Your nervous system does not differentiate between a physical threat and the barrage of dysregulated emotions emitted by a crowded room. Blood pressure subtly rises, heart rate variability drops. Cortisol floods your bloodstream, preparing your body to fight or flee an invisible enemy. The social event stops being a casual evening out. It becomes an endurance test for your internal organs. Central to this experience is your vagus nerve. This crucial neural superhighway connects your brain to your heart, lungs, and gut. It regulates your parasympathetic nervous system, the mechanism responsible for resting and digesting. When surrounded by harmonious, authentic energy, your vagus nerve signals safety. Your breathing deepens, your muscles relax. But when thrust into a group of acquaintances masking their pain or competing for dominance, your vagal tone shifts dramatically. The safety signal vanishes. The nerve transmits a distress call directly to your gut. You feel a sudden visceral urge to escape the room. We must address the aftermath of these interactions. Psychologists often refer to it as an empathy hangover. After a few hours of navigating a complex social web, your cognitive resources are depleted. The physical exhaustion mirrors the feeling of running a marathon while solving complex equations. Your muscles ache. Your thoughts become sluggish. You require stretches of uninterrupted silence to flush the excess stress hormones from your body and reset your baseline. People call you antisocial. They label you as aloof or difficult to engage. These judgments reveal a profound ignorance of human neurobiology. Your retreat from the crowd is a calculated maneuver orchestrated by a brilliant biological system. It acts to prevent a catastrophic systemic overload. When the sensory input exceeds your processing capacity, shutting down the connection is the only logical response. Friendships require presence. They demand consistent energetic exchange. When every group outing leaves you requiring days of recovery, the math simply fails to work out. You begin to decline invitations. You let the text messages fade into the background. You stop forcing yourself into environments designed for a different species of nervous system. This is not a failure of character. This is the hallmark of a hyper-calibrated machine protecting its core functions. You understand the cost of admission to the modern social sphere. You refuse to pay it with your health. The choice to maintain a meticulously small circle honors your biological reality. It honors the intricate machinery operating beneath your skin. Consider the anatomy of an average conversation. People discuss the weather. They trade hollow complaints about their daily routines. They engage in harmless gossip to pass the time. To the unbothered mind, this surface-level chatter acts as a functional social glue binding acquaintances together through safe and predictable scripts. To you, it feels like chewing glass. This brings us to the second trait. You harbor an uncompromising rejection of surface-level connection. Empaths do not operate on the shallow frequencies of pleasantries and polite nods. Your mind hungers for the authentic core of a human being. It craves the raw truth hidden beneath the social mask. When forced to participate in mundane dialogues, your brain experiences severe cognitive dissonance. You hear the words being spoken. You also feel the contradictory emotions vibrating just beneath the surface. A colleague smiles and tells a polite joke, yet you sense the heavy waves of resentment radiating off their skin. An old acquaintance brags about their perfect relationship over coffee. Meanwhile, the hollow desperation in their eyes practically shouts for help. Holding these two conflicting realities in your mind requires immense cognitive effort. The prefrontal cortex must actively suppress your intuitive knowing to maintain the polite facade of the interaction. You must play along with the lie while bearing the weight of the truth. This biological friction creates a unique kind of fatigue. Small talk drains your vital force faster than physical labor ever could. You are forced to perform a role in a play you never auditioned for. You recite lines that taste like ash in your mouth. The psychological strain of navigating a conversation devoid of substance acts like a parasite on your energy reserves. The effort of nodding, smiling, and pretending you cannot see the masks everyone wears leaves you hollowed out and aching for silence. Many people build entire lives upon these shallow foundations. They surround themselves with a vast network of casual acquaintances, mistaking proximity for intimacy. They fear the quiet. They fear what might rise to the surface if the chatter ever stops, so they keep talking to fill the void. You harbor a different kind of fear. You fear the slow death of your own authenticity. You understand a fundamental truth about human interaction. A room full of fake friends constitutes the loneliest place on earth. Standing in the center of a crowd surrounded by people who only know a carefully curated version of you breeds a profound sense of isolation. You refuse to participate in the charade. You strip away the superficial layers of your social life, with surgical precision protecting your psychological integrity at all costs. This culling process often leaves you standing alone. When you stop returning the hollow texts and decline the invitations to meaningless gatherings, the shallow connections wither. They fall away like dead leaves. You let them fall. You recognize that empty space holds far more value than a crowded void. You choose 0 friends over a dozen imposters. This rejection of the mundane stands as a testament to your standard of truth. You preserve your energy for the rare soul who speaks the language of the depths. Until that connection arrives, you sit comfortably in the quiet. Your solitude serves as a guard mechanism, keeping the superficial noise from polluting your inner sanctuary. Imagine walking through a freezing rainstorm without an umbrella. Every cold drop hits your bare skin. The moisture sinks in until your clothes cling heavy to your bones. This mirrors the daily reality of the third trait. Extreme emotional contagion dictates your social life. Your brain acts as a sponge for the invisible atmospheric pressure of human emotion. Rather than witnessing the feelings of others from a safe distance, you metabolize them. Science points to a precise network within your brain called the mirror neuron system. In most humans, these cells fire to create basic empathy, allowing someone to understand another person's pain. Your mirror neurons operate on overdrive. They bridge the gap between self and other, erasing the boundary separating your mind from the room. When a friend carries heavy grief, your brain simulates that exact sorrow with piercing accuracy. The agony floods your own neural pathways, bypassing logic and reason. You shed tears for a loss you never experienced. The heavy weight anchors itself in your chest. This biological mechanism offers a beautiful capacity for connection, but it carries a devastating side effect. You absorb the unchecked anxiety, hidden hostility, and buried trauma of everyone around you. A coworker's suppressed rage becomes a knot in your stomach. A family member's chronic stress spikes your own cortisol levels. You sit in a cafe and the despair of a stranger 2 tables away shadows your morning. Your endocrine system reacts as if these emotions belong to you. Your adrenal glands pump stress hormones into your bloodstream, preparing for a crisis that exists only in someone else's mind. The heart races. Your palms sweat. You carry a fight-or-flight response generated by an external source. Carrying this borrowed weight guarantees severe energetic burnout. Friendships mimic dumping grounds for unresolved trauma. People gravitate toward your light, unloading their emotional debris onto your shoulders. They leave the interaction feeling lighter, refreshed, and unburdened. You walk away crushed under the weight of their shadows. The exchange remains parasitic. You act as a human filter for their toxicity, processing the venom they refuse to face. Your vital energy drains away, siphoned off by those who lack the emotional intelligence to regulate their own nervous systems. The physical toll accumulates over time. Chronic fatigue sets in. Autoimmune issues flare up. Your body screams for relief from the constant barrage of foreign emotional data. It demands a purge. Pruning your social circle down to 0 becomes a matter of physiological survival. Without the constant influx of external static, your endocrine system finally stabilizes. The cortisol storms subside. You regain the ability to distinguish your own feelings from the ambient noise of the world. Having few friends offers a profound relief from this relentless contagion. The isolation acts as a necessary quarantine. You wake up in the morning and experience a clean slate. The mood you feel belongs solely to you. Your joy remains yours. Your sadness originates from your own experiences, not the unresolved grief of an acquaintance. You reclaim sovereignty over your own biology. This fierce protection of your internal environment secures your physical health and your sanity. You stand guard at the gates of your nervous system, turning away anyone carrying a storm they refuse to calm themselves. The breaking point eventually arrives. You cannot pour from an empty vessel forever. A profound shift occurs within your psyche when the pain of depletion outweighs the fear of loneliness. This brings us to the fourth trait. You develop a need for rigorous energetic boundaries. Most people view boundaries as rigid walls designed to punish others or keep the world at a distance. You understand them as vital cellular membranes. They act as a semi-permeable shield, allowing genuine connection to enter, while filtering out the parasitic attachments that threaten your internal stability. This evolution requires a sophisticated level of emotional intelligence. You must learn to witness a crisis without instantly adopting it as your own personal mission. The impulse to heal, fix, and rescue burns fiercely within your chest. It often feels like your core identity. Yet repeatedly stepping into the line of fire for those who refuse to wear armor guarantees your own destruction. Your body remembers the trauma of past overextensions. It recalls the sleepless nights and the physical aches born from carrying external burdens. Setting a boundary becomes an act of radical self-loyalty. You finally stop sacrificing your mental health to maintain the comfort of an unhealed friend. The moment you enforce these limits, your social landscape transforms. The change happens rapidly and without mercy. People who benefited from your endless emotional labor will protest the loudest when you suddenly install a locked door. They mistake your new limits for a personal attack. An old acquaintance gets angry when you decline to be their sounding board for repetitive venting. A relative deploys guilt when you refuse to mediate their toxic conflicts. You watch the masks slip. You see the transactional nature of these relationships laid bare. The realization hits hard, but it ultimately sets you free. They never valued your presence. They only valued your utility. Your circle shrinks naturally during this phase of awakening. You stop apologizing for protecting your peace. You walk away from the table when mutual respect vanishes. Some will call this behavior selfish, labeling you cold or unyielding. Let them talk. They do not carry the biological weight of your empathy, nor do they face the debilitating exhaustion of your emotional hangovers. Your nervous system requires strict parameters to function correctly. By holding these lines, you reclaim your metabolic energy. You stop bleeding out invisibly in crowded rooms. The people who remain in your life after this purge are rare. They respect your quiet and honor your requirement for solitude, without taking it personally. The psychological relief of this practice cannot be overstated. Your parasympathetic nervous system finally takes command of your body. Digestion improves, sleep deepens, and the chronic muscle tension in your shoulders begins to melt away. Your brain recognizes that it no longer lives under siege by the demands of an unregulated tribe. Having few friends becomes the visual proof of your successful boundary work. The empty space around you signifies protection, serving as a physical manifestation of your psychological sovereignty. It represents the quiet battles you fought to preserve your own mind. You choose the sanctuary of your own company over the chaos of a draining crowd. The silence becomes your truest armor, a subtle shift in posture, a fleeting microexpression masking a lie, a sudden drop in the room's temperature when a specific name is mentioned. Most people remain blissfully blind to these invisible currents. You read them like a glaring neon sign. This brings us to the fifth trait, advanced neuroception. Your subconscious constantly evaluates safety and danger within your environment, operating far below the level of conscious thought. Neuroception is your body's internal surveillance system. In an empath, this system functions like military-grade radar. You detect hidden motives and subtle manipulations long before a single word is spoken. Someone smiles and shakes your hand, but your gut instantly tightens. Your vagus nerve sends a rapid distress signal overriding the pleasant social facade. You sense the predatory nature of a charismatic stranger or the deep-seated jealousy of a longtime peer. You witness the gap between what people present and what they actually harbor within their shadows. This acute awareness makes building trust an agonizingly slow and deliberate process. You cannot easily ignore the red flags waving violently in your peripheral vision. While others dive headfirst into fast friendships based on shared hobbies or superficial charm, you hang back. You observe the incongruities. You watch how a person treats a waiter. You notice the subtle ways they belittle their own partners. Your brain compiles a rapid threat assessment calculating the potential emotional cost of engaging with them. The results usually recommend distance. This constant vigilance explains why your inner circle remains so tightly restricted. It requires immense cognitive energy to maintain a relationship while actively ignoring the warning sirens blaring in your own mind. You choose not to compromise your internal alarm system for the sake of companionship. You would rather trust your gut and walk away than endure the inevitable betrayal your intuition already predicted. Finding someone whose energy feels genuinely safe, whose inner reality aligns with their outward projection, feels like discovering a rare gem in a vast desert. You keep your distance to avoid the fallout of engaging with unregulated nervous systems. Your solitude is a direct result of this uncompromising threat detection. You protect your peace by eliminating variables that introduce chaos. The lack of friends is not a sign of social inadequacy. It serves as evidence of your exceptional psychological discernment. You refuse to lower your standards or dull your intuition to fit into a world that thrives on deception. Your intuition serves as your ultimate protector, guiding you away from danger and toward the quiet safety of your own sanctuary. The silence you inhabit offers a profound sanctuary. You stand at the center of your own life, unburdened by the chaotic static of 1,000 superficial connections. This quiet space never acts as a waiting room for a better, more crowded future. It represents the ultimate destination. Within this stillness, your nervous system finds rest. Your vagus nerve signals steady safety, allowing your heart and mind to synchronize in restorative peace. Do not let a loud, dysregulated world convince you that your solitude equates to sickness. You hold a rare and exquisite biological gift. Your immense capacity for empathy demands rigorous protection, and you possess the wisdom to provide it. You have curated an existence where authenticity rules above all else. Every empty chair in your home stands as a monument to your conscious choice to honor your own boundaries. You choose your physical health and psychological sovereignty over the toxic drain of forced companionship. Take a slow breath and feel the unwavering stability of this moment. The metabolic energy you once poured into bottomless pits now flows directly back into your own veins. You channel this vital force into your passions, your personal healing, and your continued growth. You stand strong, anchored in the undeniable truth of your own neurobiology. The isolation you once feared now functions as your greatest source of power. We know this path feels daunting at times. Societal pressure to conform presses hard against your chest, whispering lies about your worth. Yet you walk a path of quiet rebellion. Countless highly calibrated minds navigate this exact same journey, finding immense strength in the shadows. We recognize your struggle. We honor the walls you built to keep your spirit intact. Take a moment to reflect upon your own sanctuary. How do you protect your energy when the world demands too much of your light? Share the reality of your quiet life in the comments below. Your experience holds power, and your story might offer the exact validation another empath needs to survive today. Rest in your solitude. Keep your boundaries firm.